Good day and welcome to this panel. Today we speak with 4 Asian American chocolatiers. We talk about their experiences, their motivations, their recipes, and other interesting facts that you will love to hear about. We hope you discover and support these great artisans. A little about TasteTV. TasteTV is an international media company based in San Francisco and founded in 2005. TasteTV produces television programs, online videos, product reviews, award competitions, live tasting events, especially for chocolate and wine, and books. Several books have been published on chocolate, such as the Chocolatiers Primer, French Chocolate, and the Official Chocolate Journal. TasteTV's live chocolate events are called chocolate salons and include a number of artisan chocolatiers, panelists, and experts who come together to enjoy great chocolate. Our first panelist is Tony Tebang of Marti Chocola of Los Angeles. Tony is the chocolatier behind Marti Chocola, which uses traditional French techniques infused with ingredients from the Philippines, creating a repartee of the most delectable kind. This venture began at the École Le Notre in the outskirts of Paris and has grown from handcrafting chocolates to catering desserts to major events, as well as multiple awards. Marti Chocola. Kimberly Yang of Formosa Chocolates. Kimberly began her career in chocolate as a hobbyist in 2018 when she took her first chocolate class at the International Culinary Center in New York City. She became obsessed and furthered her training with École Chocolate in Belgium. In 2019, she moved from clinical medicine to chocolate and named Formosa after Taiwan. Alicia Otavi of Raphael Chocolates, Fresno, California. Raphael is derived from her sons' names, Raphael and Rio. The mission of the company is to produce real chocolate that is good and healthy for everyone, the same one she prefers to feed her children. Born in Indonesia, she has earned 2 degrees from Fresno State, working her trade as a designer and now chocolatier. Wendy Liu of Socola Chocolates. Wendy is a first-generation American, and she found herself at age 19 selling homemade chocolates at farmers markets in Santa Rosa. She and her sister Susan are the brains behind Socola, which flavors chocolates with sriracha, guava, and other things that have Vietnamese backgrounds. She also sells it in specialty stores. In 2014, they opened Socola Chocolatier and Barista on Folsom in San Francisco. Our moderator today is Cindy Wong-Chen of China Live. Cindy is co-founder of China Live, a one-of-a-kind multi-level marketplace and restaurant center in San Francisco, focusing on Chinese cuisine, culture, and culinary experiences. China Live includes a modern Chinese fine dining restaurant called 8 Tables by George Chen, a hidden bar featuring cocktails, and a retail market. China Live's signature dishes include a dim sum dish, crackling chicken, pan-fried pork buns, Chinese barbecue and charcuterie, and Peking duck pockets.
Welcome everyone to TasteTV and International Salon virtual panel series. Thank you so much to TasteTV and the Salon for giving us this platform. I'm Cindy Wong-Chen, and I'll be moderating the panel today. I remember the first chocolate I ever tasted was a Hershey's almond bar. It was love at first bite. Since that fateful day, chocolate has evolved and diversified itself in a lot of different ways. And watching the paths and journey it has taken has been a rewarding journey for me. I want to say to everyone watching, please submit your questions. We will be doing a Q&A towards the end. A lot of times we do get the same questions, so I might kind of group them together, but please do submit them. We're eager to hear from you. I'm very excited about our panel today. You just saw a little bit about them. We have today Tony Tebang of Marti Chocola, Kimberly Yang of Formosa Chocolate, Wendy Liu of Socola Chocolate, and Alicia Otavi from Raphael Chocolate. And panelists, feel free to talk about your background and your specialties as I ask questions. Traditionally, Asians have not had much chocolate in their diet until about 50 years ago. My first question is, what inspired you to do Asian flavored chocolates? And have you found people to be receptive to these? Tony, let's start with you first.
Thank you, Cindy. As a Filipino American coming to the US, I grew up from the Philippines having tasted and seen how cacao grows, and chocolate is very accessible to our country. So I have craving every now and then. But then come to the US, you know, with you're expected to have a bachelor's and having graduated and all that. I thought, you know, you could create something and not miss that childhood longing for something good and being home and all that. So that's part of how I started getting into chocolate. And yeah, being a Filipino American, chocolate has always been almost a staple, like in the morning, in the evening, and in snack times. It's always there.
So it's a comfort food, and for you, it's like the ultimate comfort food. It's not just...
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And Kimberly?
Yeah, well, I've just always been a chocolate fiend from early childhood. I think there's like a baby picture of me with my face just covered in chocolate after getting a hold of a chocolate Easter egg.
You should show us that picture.
I should. I think my parents probably thought I was a bit defective because I did not like red bean paste. That was everywhere, and it was always such a disappointment to like bite into something thinking it was chocolate and then finding out it was red bean paste. So my family is not that big into chocolate, but like they'll always happily eat my chocolate because I think they're trying to be supportive, but they seem to like them. But yeah, you asked about Asian flavors. I don't have any. Most of my flavors tend to be more Western flavors, except I have developed a flavor with yuzu, which I first encountered when I traveled to Japan. My family is really heavily influenced by Japanese culture and cuisine, and yuzu, just the juice of it was just, it's something very exotic and unique, and I love the way it pairs with chocolate.
Yeah, it goes very well. In fact, I have a yuzu tree that I grew. It's almost, it depends depending on what the yuzu is. It can be a combination of like an orange and a lemon, or a grapefruit and an orange. Yeah, it does have a very, very distinctive taste, and it gives it that wonderful balance, acid balance to the chocolates. Okay. Wendy?
Yeah, so I definitely have a lot of Vietnamese flavors. How I started was when I was a teenager, I used to walk by C's Candies all the time and eat all their samples. And then so my parents had a nail salon that was right next to the mall, so we'd walk into the mall and like my sister and I would press our noses up onto the case and see what all the flavors were. And then I was kind of entranced by it, and I was like, hey, why are there no other Asian flavors here? Like what would it be like if we made a guava chocolate, or instead of a mocha we did Vietnamese coffee, or instead of chili we did sriracha? And so it was really my way of being able to incorporate all these flavors that I grew up as a Vietnamese American. And it's really been fun to showcase it. Just like a few of the other panels have said, chocolate is not really a big thing in Asian American culture, or at least in my family. It's not really available. So I thought to have them try it, I would be able to incorporate some flavors that they were used to and enjoyed. So hopefully they would try it too.
Well, that's wonderful. It's sharing things that you love. And I know that that's what everyone here is. It's chocolate is not just a passion, but it is a lifestyle. And you guys are making it more fun. Alicia?
So I don't know. It's probably surprising to people when people ask me what my favorite chocolate is, because I'm actually not really a chocolate lover. I respect cacao as I learn more about cacao. I have a lot of respect. I do eat chocolate, don't get me wrong, but I'm not one of those like really obsessed people. I fall in love with the process, really. From the first time I touched chocolate, I thought, oh, I told my husband right away, I won't do it anymore. I'm going to miss it so much. like that's from one day. So I just love the process so much. My husband, on the other hand, is a chocolate lover, so he's a happy man.
You guys sound like a good couple.
So the Asian influence flavor. So I'm a tea person, but to this day, I only have one product that has tea in it because I have such admiration for tea. And when you pair it with chocolate, it's pretty interesting. I make all my trial batches nonstop, but I can't quite bring it to the market yet. I think because of my own like standard for tea and for chocolate itself. And then I'm an Indonesian American, and so my background, we use a lot of spices. And again, spice and chocolate, I think if it's done perfectly, then it will pair really well. But I want to showcase both, you know. So I'm still in an experimenting stage for that matter.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, pairing foods together, bringing out the best from each item is part of the pleasures of playing with chocolates or any other foods. I know that there's tannins in tea, and also that can bring out certain things for the chocolates. And I understand that you're also working with coffee and teas. And of course, the Chinese have always believed that teas are healing. We consider them to be almost tonics. And there's a long history behind what tea is. So during this COVID time, I read people are eating more chocolate and buying less deodorant. I guess people are eating chocolate in their jammies. Now, who are the buyers of your chocolates? Is there a particular demographic that is purchasing your chocolate more than others? Kimberly, let's start with you. I know in your pre-chocolatier life, you're a psychiatrist. Do you think eating chocolates in bed is therapeutic?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a natural endorphin boost. And I don't know, I used to joke around that having chocolates were much more effective in bringing a smile to people's faces than any antidepressant I was able to prescribe. So yeah, it's I wholeheartedly support it right now. Your question about who's my primary demographic right now, Formosa is a very new company, and so we don't really have a huge customer base. So I've had to pivot to selling more online, and word of mouth. And so that's primarily where most of my customers are. Most of them are here in the East Bay of California, but yeah, we do care packages and things like that.
And Wendy?
Yeah, so we have a retail shop here in San Francisco in Soma. So some of our customers are the residents in the neighborhood. And then also before COVID, we had a lot of businesses in the area. So they would come by for lunch and have drinks and hot chocolates and purchase chocolate. So a lot of those customers are ordering online. We're shipping to them. And then we also have some corporate clients who make chocolates with logos on them. So that's another portion of our business.
Okay. And are you finding the shift? Well, actually, that kind of brings me to my next question, but I'm going to let Alicia, let's hear from you.
I'm actually a chocolate maker. So so for the first, I would say maybe 4 years of my business, I'm only doing bean to bar chocolates. So the customers, I would say majority of the customers are in a very health conscious group. I just started making bonbons maybe 2-3 years ago. Then it kind of spread out. Then I have more younger generations now jump in and like, oh, what are bonbons and the different flavors and things like that. So because I see it more to the dessert rather than just regular bars.
Mm-hmm. And who doesn't love a bonbon? Tony?
Hi. Since COVID, it's been really slow because we do a lot of events, and yeah, it's just helping fellow entrepreneurs, small cafes do small batch wholesale, just partnering with them, doing small events like Mother's Day, graduation, gifts, and little celebrations, little parties, and that's pretty much what we've been doing since COVID. But prior, it's been online and a lot of major events, especially that I'm in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. There's a lot of wrap parties and just, yeah, it's been different these days.
Okay. All right. And what is your best form of distribution? Wendy, you had mentioned before that you have a storefront. I know you do in San Francisco. Are you selling out of the store now? And what other avenues are you using? And do you find people nesting more?
Yeah, we had to make some adjustments due to the current situation. We're not open from a retail perspective. So we do have storefront pickup, but our everyday operations is not open fully. So we have pickups 2 times a week on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 4. And those are coincidentally the days we also ship out chocolates. I don't remember the second part of your question.
Oh, what other avenues are you using?
Oh, yes. I have my customer base from, online and from my retail store. So I reach out and try to create new products. For example, we aren't doing any more espresso-based drinks or coffee, which was kind of a big part of our business. And a lot of customers have been asking about how they can make our mocha or Chocolatier at home or hot chocolates. And so I'm coming up with a new product that they can refrigerate and then melt down and then, add it to their Nespresso machine and mix espresso in there and steam milk and kind of create something similar and including our chocolate marshmallow. So trying to become more creative given the times. And, we ship all these items. And since it's local, it's hot some days, but for the most part, we're able to ship it and it'd be okay.
And how are you adding, I'm curious, the chocolate, do you add it in with the capsule, the beans, when you do it with the espresso, or do you add it in after?
You add, so what I do is we call it liquid truffle. So we have them melt it down in the microwave, medium power, and then you pour your espresso shot on top of it. So you pour your shot into the chocolate, mix it up, steam the milk, and then add it. I just had it this morning. It gave me a crazy buzz. I haven't had a Chocolatier in a long time, so
that sounds
really
delicious.
Yum.
It's like an ideal mocha. It's like the elevated mocha. That sounds great.
Exactly.
And Alicia, I know that you add chocolate too to your teas and coffees in your store.
Yes. So I have a little factory retail store as well. Most of my distribution is out of my shop. So that's first. And then we actually started out at farmers markets. We're still there now. We tried a bunch, but now it's down to 2, one in here in Fresno and then one in Visalia, which is like a town south of here. And then I also do wholesale, mostly in the West Coast, mostly in the Bay Area, but not for bonbons yet. I'm still a newcomer for bonbons. I'm still nervous about, the shelf life and things like that. And to be honest with you, my capacity is not there yet. Like I'm still selling bonbons just seasonal, for like Christmas. And so only seasonally right now. But right now I'm open only limited hours and only curbside. But the drinks have been drawing people in because it's hot and it's really hot here in Fresno. So I have a little cafe where I sell the coffee and then like what Wendy was explaining. So that's what I'm selling too, with the espresso shots and the chopped chocolate and things like that. So yeah.
Okay. And I know that you were doing tours in your factory. And holding events. Have you considered, or are you doing virtual online tours?
Not yet. I feel like that's a lot of preparation to, when it's one-on-one, it's very intimate. I have a very small shop, so our tour size is maybe 12 to 15 people, and it's only local, and we can talk directly to customers. But once I open it to virtual, I don't even know who my customers are anymore, and I don't know how big the size is. So I do want to do that eventually because people have been asking me, especially for parents, in the summertime. Well, now it's ending, but yeah, I've been getting phone calls from parents like, what am I gonna do with my children? Do you have to offer tours? So summertime is when we were usually busiest with tours, which is very exciting to us, because we get to educate people. This is where cacao from. It's not just from supermarket and things like that. But yeah, for now, everything's still on hold.
Yes, I know in this time it's changed so much. Like I know, for example, TasteTV International Chocolate Salon would hold all these salons, chocolate salons, and it was a great opportunity, I know, to go and meet people and get their feedback, someone try your chocolates. I mean, one of the most rewarding things for me, being in the restaurant business, is watching the happy smile, watching a customer eat something, taste it, and saying they love it. And that response really feeds us, as chocolatiers. And this is, do you see Asian flavored chocolates expanding more in Asia?
I'm sorry, for me?
Yes, go ahead, or yeah, anyone, please jump in. Tony, do you want to start? I know that you travel the world giving talks.
Yes, well, these days, especially with the internet making the world so small, making the globe so small, people have been traveling. People are curious. People are tasting. People are just into just learning other people's cultures. Just taking them to another place and just getting educated with the other people's backgrounds. I think chocolate, especially in the Philippines, I can speak for the Philippines, since I have visited, there are a few chocolate companies. Malagos is number one. They won so many awards. It's in the south part of the Philippines. They grow cacao. Back in the day, you wouldn't hear Filipino entrepreneurs taking their products globally. Now they are visible globally. They make bonbons, they make bars, they make all these gift items, souvenir items, and just I'm so happy about it because there's a few chocolate companies in the Philippines now, and it's I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Just yeah, it's the time of chocolate. People are discovering chocolate to be not just a commodity, not just a piece of sweet, not just something. It's a luxury. It's like wine, like they say. It's wine. It's alive. It has different nuances, and it depends on where it grows, where it comes from. It just takes you to another place. People are just, and it's the most affordable luxury. That's why I guess people these days are into chocolate, especially in our current time, our situation right now.
Absolutely. And Kimberly, how do you feel?
Yeah, there's I didn't know. I didn't know until just a few months ago that chocolate actually grows in Taiwan too. There's a wonderful company called Fuan that I came across getting the craft chocolate experience, and they have some amazing bars that they've combined with some Asian flavors. They have an oolong bar that's quite good. What was it? Well, I really like the oolong one, obviously, and they combine it with another red tea, and there's another one that's kind of a weirder flavor. I want to say something funny like fish eggs or something. I don't remember, but it worked surprisingly well. So yeah, it's like I not really having so many Taiwanese customers here specifically to have taste my chocolates. I don't really have any ideas of whether or not they're really cultivating a taste for chocolate. But I mean, I can't imagine why that wouldn't be so. I mean, who doesn't love chocolate when they try it? I think maybe one of the issues that people in Taiwan came across was just not having access to good chocolate growing up, because that was an issue I had really. Like growing up, mostly had Hershey bars, Hershey Kisses and things. It's kind of like a waxy chocolate. And I didn't know any better. It was sugar and fatty, and I loved it. But then, like when I had a proper like Cadbury bar from England before Hershey's took over, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever put in my mouth. And so maybe that's an issue too. That we might start to see changing in Asia.
And Wendy, what are you seeing? Are you seeing changes in Asia for chocolate?
Yeah, definitely. Specifically, I can speak to Vietnam. There's a number of chocolate makers that are starting up there and have established themselves there. Specifically, Maru. They source chocolate from different regions in cacao from different regions in Vietnam and make bars. So I feel like they do export a lot of it, but I do see a lot of hearing a lot about Vietnamese people enjoying chocolate as well. So kind of just what Kimberly said, it's just not been available. Good chocolate, good quality chocolate has not been available, but it is now. And so, you know, people are expanding their taste to give it a shot. And in terms of flavors, infusing into like bonbons or truffles, that's definitely what we do. And I definitely see a trend in that market of creating things that are not existing right now, right? Coming up with things like chocolates made with, so we have like a mooncake chocolate. We use make lotus seed paste and incorporate with chocolate and make salted egg yolks and make that just for the mooncake festival. And, you know, we also incorporated traditional Chinese medicine herbs into a box for the Lunar New Year. So definitely seeing a lot of demand and requests for that and a lot of excitement about it. So we definitely are continuing on that path and looking to experiment more there.
Yeah, I know that the lunar, it's normally, we used to call it the August moon, but it's quite late this year. I believe it's October 1st. And what you're doing is bringing a tradition. I know that in Asia, or even here, it's traditional to give a mooncake. Everybody gets a box of mooncake. In fact, I have stacks of mooncakes, and they're almost like Christmas cake. They last forever. But for what you're doing is very clever, taking part of our culture and putting it into something that is very approachable for people, because who doesn't like chocolate? And the herbal as well, is using that. That's, well, from Chinese. My mother was always making tonics when I was growing up and putting that in. And so it's good for you as well. So not only does it taste good, but it's good. That's wonderful. Alicia?
From what I know, I mean, I've moved to, so I moved here about 25 years ago. So, but every time I go home to Indonesia, I would try and get these different chocolate from the chocolate makers there. There's maybe about 3 or 4 that I know of. They are incorporating, I mean, it's Indonesia, it's full of spices. So they do a lot of chocolates with spices and the different tropical fruits and coconut for sure. So that's what I'm seeing in Indonesia. The country next door to us is Singapore. What is the company's name? Fosa. They use pretty bizarre ingredients in their chocolate.
I've had a lychee rose, and
that one is excellent. Believe it or not, I actually like the one with the shrimp and bonito. That's yeah. So at first I thought, but then when you try it, it's actually pretty good. And then the other one that they have is the salted egg.
Yes,
that's
I've had
the
that.
flavor that it's in every snack, I feel like. So, so yeah, I know my discoveries when I visit there.
Yeah, salted egg has this wonderful umami to it. I personally love it. And looking at all the restaurateurs today, incorporating all these ingredients, I know that since like the early 2000s, there's really been this wonderful rise where I think we all have a lot more freedom to do things and feel like we can incorporate these ingredients that we love traditionally, but not traditionally in chocolate. So what words of wisdom do you have for aspiring chocolatiers? Kimberly, you mentioned before that your parents about the red bean, and I understand being Chinese, and of course, being a good Chinese child, you're supposed to be a doctor.
Right.
But I know that red bean too, you can almost turn it so that it's almost like a chocolate in a way, right? You can add it, you can have that texture, but in itself, there's not that much love going towards that. Right. What would you obviously chose to go on this path. What would you give as words of wisdom for aspiring chocolatiers?
Oh my God. I mean, it's just I think the thing I wish I had known was that it would be such that it's a really expensive hobby to get into, and learning more about the business behind it. I took the I guess the restaurateur SBDC course just last term, I guess, and found it tremendously helpful. But like I come from a medical background. I have no business sense whatsoever. So like cost of goods sold and that stuff, that was completely foreign to me. I was just like, I had no idea how to price anything. Yeah, so I think making sure that you try to read as much about business as possible. That's like, I know that's like the not so sexy part, but I find that as I overcome these challenges, it's empowering to learn something new. And I think that's why chocolate is so fun for me too, is because it's a completely different skill set. Every time you think you've mastered something in chocolate proves you wrong, like that you don't actually know anything. But yeah, I love the challenge of it. So, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Wendy?
Yeah, so I've been in chocolate for a really long time, since 2001. And I started when I was a teenager. I didn't have very much money, but I had another job and I saved up a little bit of money and then bought chocolate molds or chocolate or things like that. And I feel like it's something, I mean, I love chocolate, but I think it's good to start small. I think it's worth like starting small and reiterating and pivoting here and there and make changes. Trying to figure out what is your true calling in chocolate and what makes it unique to you and your own brand. I think, don't let anyone tell you not to do it. My dad definitely told me not to. I went to college and graduated, and he was like, I was like, I'm gonna go to pastry school instead of college. He's like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay, great. Okay, I will.
We didn't send you to college to do that.
Yeah, so then I worked in corporate management consulting for a number of years and saved up enough to take pastry school in the evening. And I was like, hey, well, it's my own money now. If I want to do it, then I'm gonna do it. And I'll still keep my job too. So I kept my job and went to pastry school in the evenings, made chocolates and sold them all online. But there's so much to learn along the way, and there's no way you're going to be able to learn everything when you start. So you just have to start, sell at some farmers markets, sell to friends, get your flavors vetted, and then see where you can go from there. It just takes time. Like opening a retail store was just like a huge dream for me, and it took, I don't know, like 15 years. But you just got to chase your dreams and do what makes you happy.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the truth. In life is short, and we have to pursue your dreams. Or let's give it a shot. Alicia?
I think starting any business is hard, right? So for me, I feel like I just need to focus on what I love to do. Like I said, I love the making of it. And second is the health benefits of chocolate. You trace back all the way to the cacao. It's good for the environment, to the farmers, the distributor, all the way to us, and then to the customers. And then what keeps me alive to this day is the stories that the customers bring me, what chocolate has affected them. Now the chocolate has become part of their life. When it's Christmas, like right before Christmas, I have a list of customers that private text me now, like, okay, this is what you need to do. Like, all those things just drop. I'm very fortunate that my husband is a co-founder, right? So I'm really bad. Well, maybe I just choose not to like it. Like I'm really bad with all the paperwork. So he takes care of all of that. So every time, when I do all the chocolate, when he said, wow, you're doing all this, I said, but you know what? If you're not by my side doing all of those, I would have quit a long time ago. So I guess, you just need to find what your strength and then what you love to do, and then maybe kind of let somebody else do what they're really good at, so and then like I said, with any business I think it's tough, and maybe I just for me to this day I'm still kind of, it's really surreal for me that it has come to now, like me talking to you guys, it feels so weird to me. It's really fish out of the water for me, because I am kind of like a behind the scene person. And then when the customers, actually it's the customers that keep reminding me of like, hey, you have done that, this is what it means with what you're doing right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's almost like I just look up and go, oh, wait, what did I do? Oh, okay. Because I'm so focusing on just like making the best product and meet every deadline and do the best I can, you know? So I think if you just keep at it, you know, wherever it goes, right? I'm just fortunate enough that I'm still here and doing what I love, so.
Okay. Sorry, that's wonderful. It sounds like all of you have found wonderful partners to go with. And what about you, Tony?
Well, it was a long process for me. I mean, there wasn't anyone in my family that is an entrepreneur. It took a while. I just wanted to learn something and create something. And one thing led to another, meeting people, meeting chocolatiers in different parts of the world, and just seeing them take so much pride and joy in the simplest thing that they do. It's one of those amazing experiences. And just right now, being in front of this panel, you know, and I could say I've met so many amazing people by just making chocolate. And how could you not, you know, how could you not do it? So it's not easy. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of sacrifices that you have to do. But ultimately, the joy compensates. It's more, you get more out of it than what you put in. So yeah, you just, like right now, we're working with other chocolatiers in different parts of the world that I met, and we're trying to see if we could do an online class teaching pastry and chocolate making. Led me to this. Who would have known? I mean, I don't know. I just enjoy making chocolate. I just enjoy creating, and I little did I know that I enjoy teaching as well. So that's something else. Yeah. So yeah, it's all chocolate. It's all blame it on chocolate.
Well, and it certainly shows, Tony, that you love to share. And that's part of what chocolate's about. It's a wonderful thing, an easy thing to share. Yeah. A couple of questions I got from the audience. And this is something that's directed to all of you. What secrets to marketing can you share? And who are your best customers? Wendy, do you want to start?
Oh, me? Okay, sure. I see they said you had me at llamas. My mascot is actually an alpaca. They're much friendlier and cuter. I honestly, marketing is not my strong point. That's my sister's, Susan's skill set there. My focus on making great chocolates and trying to like build customers and, you know, make people happy. So my best customers have been the ones that continue to buy chocolates from me, you know, give me inspiration for new flavors. And then, you know, I'm like, let me work on it and see what I can do, and then give them some experiments. And for some, you know, it's just really fun. So someone asked me to make, it must have been a long time ago, a pho chocolate. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If anyone's gonna give it a shot, it's gonna be me, right? So I'm gonna do it. So I found all the pho spices, pulled them together, did a steeping into cream, and did overnight steeping, and then I made it called Pho number 1. That's my first experiment trial at it, and it actually stuck. I had a whole bunch of people sample, and they all loved it. So it's coming out probably in October, a pho spice chocolate, along with all my Vietnamese flavors in a Vietnamese meal box. So I've got like jasmine tea, Vietnamese coffee, sriracha, pho, durian, passion fruit, guava. So it'll be like eating a meal in chocolate. So well, just coming up with fun things. Yeah.
I can't wait to try that. I remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the movie. And do you remember he had this one, it was a gumball, and it started off with an appetizer, right? And then he went to roast beef. And then finally, when he got to the blueberry pie, I think he started blowing up, he turned blue. Yeah. But it sounds like Wendy, you've found a way to put a meal in a chocolate. So I definitely have to try that. And I love the flavors of pho too. Alicia?
For marketing, so we just have to get our story out there. you know, for my local market has been so supportive. We started, like I said, we started out at farmers markets, and we just explain who we are, what we do, and what our mission is. And marketing, you know, for me, I think for local market, the biggest one is from tours, because once you get people in the door, they know what you're doing, and then they're blown away by all these cacao facts and chocolate and what it does for you and all that. So a lot of it is from word of mouth. And then second would be going out to shows like the Salon. Salon is like my first show out of Fresno. That's been really helping me. So doing shows, and then I also enter, you know, every competitions, you know, and then so from the awards, that's how you get your name out there outside of here, because now you're competing with the nation, you know, nationwide. And then I also have a broker, so that helps too. I try to attend other like chocolate conventions, so then you meet with other people, with other makers, and all the vloggers, you know. When you show up, then people are like, oh, then they get to know you more and your stories and things like that. And everybody has their own following. And so then when they say, oh, you know, this, yeah, so that's how so it's more word of mouth at this point. And social media for sure, right? Yeah, social media has been such a blessing. We're in a perfect time now, right? I know that the pandemic is happening and everything, but thanks to social media, you know, it feels like everybody's still kind of connecting in some ways. So,
is there a particular social media platform that you found works better than others?
We've just been using Facebook. So, and that's been really helping us.
Okay. Well, yes, absolutely. And Tony?
Oh, I'm just lucky that I have loyal supporters. That's despite my not so good website, I still have people that remember in the events, in the tastings, in parties, in presents that they received, and that's kept us from just going. Just lucky. It's a relationships. I think it's a relationships that you have with so many people. It's the connection. So just lucky.
Well, it sounds like you're being very humble, and luck perhaps plays a part, but I think that you're doing a little bit to help that along the way. Okay. Kimberly?
Yeah, so marketing is also very new to me, just like running a business. And I'm really kind of camera shy, and I don't really like, you know, having my face out there. But when I went to the craft chocolate experience, it was just this wonderful panel on crowdfunding, actually. And this woman, Estelle Casey, she hosted it, and she talked about how she did some crowdfunding for her book. And her tip was to get your face out there as much as possible, because people are interested in you, in the chocolatier or the chocolate maker, and not, I mean, obviously they care about your product too, but like having that personal connection with you really makes it more meaningful, I think. Most of my, I would say, like, especially at the beginning, most of my customers were just really good friends of mine, and then they would buy my chocolates as gifts for other people. So now that we don't really have sampling was really my best sales tool at the salons. Now that we don't have sampling, a lot of my new customers come from our gift recipients, actually. Like, they've gotten it for Mother's Day and then turned around and bought it for other people for birthdays and such.
Okay. Yeah, it is the personal touch. Everyone wants to see the face behind the chocolate, and people love sharing stories. You bring up an interesting point. With the new products that you have, how are you marketing the new flavors if you can't sample them out?
Right.
And
yeah, so for me, like, I've just been experimenting with different flavors. I've got a number of local customers, and so I'll just give them out just for free, just because I think chocolates brighten people's day. So like, I don't expect any sales from it. All I ask for is just some feedback, good or bad. And it's just like, right now I see this as a time for R&D, really. But yeah, it's just, I gave it away to people that I know.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want a free chocolate, especially ones that taste as wonderful as the ones that you're making? Another question that we have from the audience, what would you use a Filipino, Thai, Taiwanese, cacao, Indonesian to make a single origin bonbon?
I can answer that for me. Oh, sorry. For me, so there, I was talking about Maru as a chocolate company in Vietnam. What I notice about chocolate bars is they have very nuanced flavors, right? Especially if you go to single origin. So if you find a chocolate from a specific region of Vietnam, it may be really fruity, or it may have like different spicy notes to it, which you would want to focus and feature as a single flavor, and just do that. So it would be like a single origin Vietnamese chocolate. But for me, when I'm incorporating other flavors, I want to find something that's a little bit more balanced, so that when I incorporate my flavor in, it actually stands out versus being muted by these other things, or trying to overcome a flavor that is already existed, like a fruity chocolate, and trying to put coffee into it. I'd have to put a lot of coffee flavoring for it to even like stand out from that.
To balance it, right? Exactly. To balance it out. Okay. And Alicia, I know that you use single origin beans too as well. And of course, Indonesia has had a long history with the Dutch, being there in Indonesia. Are you thinking about, you mentioned bonbons.
So yeah, because I make my own chocolate. So the sad thing is I don't have any Asian beans yet. I do have one from India, which I'm still experimenting with. So the single origins that I've been using are mostly from Latin America or Africa. So not much from Asia yet, not even from Indonesia. I do have some, but not enough for production. Right. But yeah, when I pick my origin, it really like Wendy said, you have to look for one that's balanced with whatever ingredients that you want to add into it. I love using Ghana, which is very chocolatey, very just the cacao itself, it tastes like baked goods already. So like that's a really good one. Or I like the ones that's kind of has the nutty flavor. Those are really good, especially with coffee and things like that. But
Wendy had mentioned that the Vietnamese, they have a little bit of fruity notes to them. I'm curious about the Indian one that you talked about. How would you describe the one from India as far as taste profile?
I am still in the roasting stage. So when you roast cacao, I mean, just from the roasting profile, you can produce so many different flavors out of it. That one, oh man, I have to look at my notes, because when we do a roasting experiment, I mean, I have a whole table long of just different nibs that I then turn into chocolate and then taste each one. So and then it depends on what origins that I already have in my collections, and then kind of see which one I want to go, and so that it will fit right to the collection. But right now, I think I'm looking for something more in a caramel, more like the caramel flavor. I think it does have a little bit of fruity note though, but I have not really decided on that one yet, unfortunately.
I definitely have to come and visit your factory when you're up and running again. It sounds like it's a playground for somebody. Okay. And Tony?
For single origin, the one that I have tasted is the one from Davao, which has smoky, spicy notes, but they have other varieties as well. But specifically, the one that I tasted is quite spicy and smoky, and that I would use with well, you know what? For single origin, I let it be. I like highlighting the flavor of that specific region. It's kind of hard for me to incorporate something. If it's single origin, I use blended chocolate for my other combinations for the bonbons, but for single origin, I try to highlight the profile and just enjoy that flavor.
You're trying to bring out the best and just highlight what it is and just let it be. Okay.
Right. I have one more comment on that. Usually single origin chocolates are very expensive. So if you were to make if you were to make like a truffle or something like that, it would make the price very high.
It's not cost efficient.
Yeah, it's not cost efficient. But I will add that just thinking about the Dandelion in San Francisco has an advent calendar every year, and they collaborate with other chocolatiers to use their chocolate to make a confection. And so we have done that, and that's when you taste the chocolate and then see what you can combine with it. So for one, last year, for example, we used I think it was Camino Verde, and then we made a chocolate caramel with it, and then added a slice of candied orange, and so that really brought out all the different flavors in the chocolate, and it actually played really well in the caramel. And we add cinnamon too. So it's kind of like you have to taste it and then see, and then figure out what you can make. So it's just a little bit more challenging, but you can make something complementary with it.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're enjoying it, but there's a lot more to it than people think, and trying to balance all the flavors out and the nuances. Kimberly? Oh, Kimberly. Oh, go ahead, unmute, please. I was trying to read lips there for a moment. I think I could figure out what you said. Okay. I think, Kimberly, I think we're still having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Okay. I'll let, there you okay. Let me, we'll give a few seconds on that for Kimberly to join us on that. Another question that people have to ask you guys is, what was the moment, or what made you feel that I've arrived, I'm a chocolatier now? And what dreams are you pursuing now? Who would like to start with that? Tony, would you like to start?
A chocolatier. When am I a chocolatier? When people, I always say I just make chocolate. When I'm introduced as someone who makes chocolate, people light up. People's eyes just light up. I don't know.
What was the aha moment when you said, "Oh, I'm a chocolatier now"?
I never called myself a chocolatier. I always say I just make chocolate. I just make chocolate. But aha moment was when I tried making something for a friend's party, and that turned out to be it was just something like a potluck contribution for a party. And what I created was something that I learned from because at that time I just came back from Paris for my internship, and I just created something, and they said, "Oh my God." Well, just so you guys know, when I went to chocolate school, I didn't have the intention of going into business. I just want to learn something. So attending a friend's party and bringing something, and that's when they started telling me that, I can do this part-time. I can make desserts or chocolate on the side. And that's when I said, maybe I can do it. And then little by little, and one thing led to another. Events happened, and I get invitations from because I was working at the entertainment industry at that time. I get invitations to do wrap parties and just do what I do. And that's when it all started. So, and then Andre's event I found out. So I started joining, and yeah. But still to this day, I just say I'm a proprietor of Marti Chocolate, and I just make chocolate.
So you do what you love.
Yes.
And apparently it loves you as well. So
yes.
It's working out.
Yes. Yes.
Alicia?
I don't know. I don't think I feel like I've made it or anything like that. I think it's what people reminded me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, I just do what I love, and I feel like I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I make it. Like I think I would never do. I don't ever want to be in that place, because if I'm ever in that place, then I won't learn anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people go, how did you learn how to make chocolate? I said, do you want to be honest? I fail a lot. And that's how I learn. And like I always tell my children, sometimes I would get really discouraged, and then my voice would then reminded me, you know, saying, Mama, but you said you have to try 12 times before you quit. I was like, oh gosh, okay.
I see why you named your business after the two of them. They're a constant reminder for what you should be doing.
Right. So I feel like I'm just a student. So if you ask me what I am, I'm just a student. Forever I'm always a student, because I feel like and when people ask me how long have you been in business, I'm kind of hesitant to say, because I'm just like, I think I'm just a beginner. I always feel that way. I feel like I still have so much to learn. So what is the dream? I don't know. One of the boys like chocolate. The other one is it's all right. Because you know they grew up with it. Chocolate's always.
So one's like you, and the other's like your husband.
Right. And but one thing that always remind me that I'm a chocolate maker is when I visit the boys' school, because you know I've done a tour for the children and offer, you know, and then they have so much chocolate. Then now I'm known as their mom. You know, they always remember like, hey, this is the one that can give us chocolate.
I'm sure they're always looking forward to having you visit the class.
Yeah.
And Wendy.
Yeah.
And Wendy?
Yeah, so when we were younger, we sold at the Santa Rosa Farmers Market. It had been like, I don't know, 18 years ago, but there was one specific customer, and I don't know why, I just remembered her name, Carolyn Perkins. She ate a chocolate, she bit into it, and she was like, oh my God, these are sinful. And so I don't know, for that, I was like, I guess I'm a chocolatier now. So, you know, and just actually having return customers and making people happy. And, you know, that's why I'm in business. I have two young kids also. I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so just having them, you know, being excited and telling people that I'm a chocolatier, and, you know, being excited for them to come into the store and like help me and like separate candy cups and just like talk to customers. It's so beautiful. Especially like growing up in my parents' nail salon, I was part of their business too. So I think, you know, that's my dream, to have them involved as well. And, you know, I don't know, carry this on. I'm not sure. We'll see where it goes, but I'm definitely having fun. So as long as that's happening and people are happy, I'll keep going.
Okay, so if I get this correctly, everyone, if you appreciate a chocolate, just tell the chocolatier she's sinful. Kimberly? Kimberly, we're having trouble hearing you. Okay.
How does this work?
Oh, there you are. We can hear you now.
Yeah. I don't know. So, I mean, I still feel a little bit weird calling myself a chocolatier, because I mean, it is still fairly new to me. I guess maybe I feel like it when my friends started saying, like, when they hug me, like, you smell like chocolate. Maybe that's.
Do you get a lot of hugs? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, so I also dance Argentine tango, and so so it's a dance in a very close embrace. And so there were times that I would be like, when I first started out at home, I'd be messing around with chocolate and then realize, oh God, it's time to go dancing. So I wouldn't shower, but I just change into my clothes and go in, and then like they'd smell my hair, everything, just chocolate. So,
well, I'm sure you had no lack of dancing partners.
I'm sorry?
I'm sure you had no lack of dancing partners.
Oh no, if you like, yeah, I would bring my experiments to the dance and give them out to people to taste. And I think that's, yeah, exactly where a lot of my first customers came from. But it's a great way to make friends. It's a great icebreaker. Just hands them a piece of chocolate and suddenly you've got something to talk about. And yeah.
Okay, well, so for everyone, is there a product that you're working on right now? I know that we've talked about different things. Is there a particular one that you would like to tell us about? Tony, do you want to start?
Product, well, it's summertime. I usually make fig with tea. With that's something. But the thing though is I don't ship outside LA County because of the season. It's summer. We don't have preservatives. I just don't want people spending so much on cooling supplies and stuff like that. So we'll start shipping chocolate by the end of September, early October. But yeah, it's fig and chocolate for people in my area.
Well, it's too bad you don't ship. So it sounds like it's worth the drive to LA though to come and try that. Okay. Alicia?
Currently, to be honest, I'm not working on anything right now. Am I working with anything? I've been planning a lot for the holiday. You know, you just have to go that far, right? So I'm kind of done planning for the holiday. Is there any new ones? So I'm in Fresno, and I'm very lucky with all these makers, local makers. That one is a olive oil maker. They've won hundreds of awards, and they're very well known olive oil maker. So I do have one olive oil bonbons, and then I'm also very fortunate to have a red wine dessert wine maker. They're the most awarded and the oldest maker also, and that's like my neighbor. So I also have another wine bonbons, coffee. Yeah, that's it.
Wow, those sound delicious, and you're lucky to have a wine lover neighbor. Wendy, can you tell us about any products that you have coming up?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a few with the
chocolate espresso
drinks at home, and then the chocolate. The other thing I'm looking into is, you know, how to bring a little bit more connectivity with people in their companies during these times. And so like virtual classes, chocolate and tea pairings is one that I just worked on with Dark Healing Lounge. And so it's an offering that we have now that people can have for their company with like at least 10 people. We will ship the chocolate and the teas, and then we guide through the pairing. So just finding little things like that to, you know, bring a little sense of community when everyone's a little bit, you know, unable to see each other this time.
And we definitely need that right now to stay in touch with each other. And what a better way to do it than with chocolate. Kimberly, can you tell us about a product that you're working on?
Yeah. So one thing I've been working on is playing with mochi and boba. Those are both really common this texture that people really like, and like I haven't really seen chocolate paired with those together. So I mean, there's like chocolate mochi ice cream, but not like chocolate with mochi filling. I don't know. So there's that, and then I'm also really excited to. I recently discovered that they also grow coffee in Taiwan. I didn't know that. Apparently Japan snaps it all up, so it doesn't really make it elsewhere in the world. So there's a company called Formosa Coffee that I just ordered and got a bag. And I'm excited to experiment with that.
It's wonderful how all of you are incorporating things that you love from your culture, from your childhood. We need to wrap up. I would like to thank our panelists. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I wish everyone health, safety, and remember, eat chocolates so you will have sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much
for having us.